So maybe we can talk a little bit about Seymour Rexite.
Oh, I'd love to talk about Seymour. He was born in Pietrków, Poland in 1914, let's say, but it could be years either side. But when he came with his father to America in 1920, they had been living in Lodz, where his father was a cantor at a Reform synagogue there. And it was a very traumatic experience for him, taking the ship over to America and going through Ellis Island. He was sick. They separated him from his father. He was in quarantine for 3 days. He didn't know what was happening. He spoke no English. It was one of the great traumatic moments of his life. But eventually, he was reunited with his father, and they began working immediately. He was known as a wonder boy, and his father was a cantor. He would sing in the cantor's choir, or his father would bring him around to all the vaudeville houses, and he would learn how to imitate the actor Ludwig Zatz. Was a big mentor of Seymour's, and so he would imitate his little yeshiva boy style and jokes, and he began doing concerts. His mother and sister and brother weren't allowed over, so he had become so popular in American culture that he had got the attention of a gangster named Sam Sennett, who was friends with Congressman Isaac Siegel, who arranged for him to sing in front of the Immigration Committee in Washington. And the cover of the Washington Post, in English outside that day, introduced him as the greatest juvenile voice in the world. And then he won a nationwide competition. They would pick a group of performers from all over America and bring them to Washington, D.C. to sing for the president there. So he met Calvin Coolidge twice within several months. And he sang at the White House, specifically at a state dinner, and he sang in Yiddish, in Italian, and in English. And that helped him secure visas for his family. And of course, Calvin Coolidge was a Republican. He had just given the first presidential radio address around this time, talking about the need for stronger borders. So, and this was a front page news story. And he got visas for his parents, for his mother and his siblings to come over as an 8-year-old. He was already supporting his family, and he was literally saving his family. And then when Ludwig Zatz got a role to perform on Broadway in Potash and Perlmutter, he was doing a really hit musical play called The Rabbi's Melody. It's beautiful music by Joseph Rumchinsky. And so when Zatz went onto Broadway, they didn't know who would take over the role on 2nd Avenue, and so Zatz recommended Seymour, who was actually a 13-year-old boy as opposed to a 30-year-old man playing that. And so he was, 13 or 14, the first show he starred in on 2nd Avenue, which was pretty incredible. He didn't have a childhood. When he was older, he was kind of fascinated by cars, little kids' cars, and he would still collect them. If he saw someone selling a car, he would buy it. So he definitely was a child who worked and did not have a childhood.